Every time.
Every time. Welcome to Team Hurricane Returns. I am Shaun. Can I help you?
Sure. I'm Darrel. I am also a member of this podcast. How are you?
Did you have a return? This is the
y-
returns desk.
Oh, the returns desk. Okay, yes, I have a return. I have some Spider-Man fruit snacks here.
What was wrong with them?
They don't taste good.
Okay, let me write that down. Don't taste good. Okay. And were you wanting store credit or cash? What were you
I
trying
would
to...
prefer some tastier snacks if possible. I just even
Okay.
swap if we could do that.
Okay,
A
I'll hold
Gushers
these
maybe.
here, and yeah, if you want to go grab a packet of what you
One
would be good.
pouch. I think is one pouch for one pouch. Can we do that?
Yeah. This is my store.
I was about to say, what's the name of this grocery store? Because I really like it.
Team Hurricane. We take returns on opened groceries.
Okay, fair.
That's on our side. Underneath the name.
I'm not sure that is legal or
Look, do you want your extra fruit snacks or what?
I do. It's not sanitary though. I'm just gonna it's definitely not sanitary.
That pouch is still sealed, right?
This one is, but what else? What other groceries do you take?
Don't worry about it.
No, I want to worry about it. This is apparently part of my store too.
We take it on a case-by-case basis. Like, we'll take back meat.
Wow, open meat.
Like, not like a bag of oranges, because we don't know how many oranges were in there. And so you could have taken out some oranges, and then you're trying to shaft us, short us on oranges after you've already had some citrusy delight.
I have a lot of moral quandaries with the concept of this store. And I'm not sure how it got off the ground without me knowing.
Well, I don't know how you ended up at the returns desk just to judge our business model.
Well,
you want your gushers?
Yes, of course I want my gushers. Oh, if only this were real and I could get real gushers.
Are gushers not around anymore? Do they still exist?
Oh, no, they totally are, and they're totally as terrible as you remember. I mean, good.
Like good terrible?
Yes.
Gotcha. Like greasy pizza is good terrible.
Like you're like, I know as a middle, I don't want to say middle age, but approaching middle age, I guess. Man, I have now gotten to the phase of my life where I'm like, if I eat that, it's going to be trouble.
Mm-hmm. I used to not understand when adults would do that, and I'd be like, what do you mean pizza's going to be trouble? No.
Right, as I ate a whole pizza.
Yeah.
As I picked the box up.
Ran around,
Yeah, to burn off all that pizza.
Right.
And maybe that's the difference, right? Like you were just like a little motor that just never turned off as a child. Like,
perpetual motion machine, yeah.
Until you dropped, right? And then you required more pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Insert more pizza to continue.
I mean, really, pizza's the ultimate fuel for a kid if you want them to run like that, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. If you want a kid to run at peak efficiency, pizza is what you
carb them up and just redline.
Carbo load your child at CC's because they're young enough that they can't tell the difference between that and good pizza. Yeah, that's the other thing. CC's tastes fucking delicious when you're 5.
Right, and it still tastes delicious whenever you're 37, but you're like, man, like I know this is bad, and I objectively know that this is not a very good piece of pizza. Number 1. Number 2, it's going to be a very big deal for the rest of my night as I battle the repercussions of
gastronomical implications.
And 2, there's a moment when you're sitting at CC's alone by yourself eating, and you're just like, is this life? Is this real?
That's true. And we lived so close to a CC's Pizza growing up that I ate some food there alone at least a couple of times.
I think it's different when you're a kid, though. Like, even, like, a teenager. Like, when we went, like, I was never afraid to be like, 1, please, because, like, you're getting all this fucking pizza. Like, you feel like you're getting one over on the man, right? Because you're like, brother, like, I'm here to eat a shit ton of pizza.
Here's my $4.99.
Right. And I want the drink. I'm guzzling soda, too.
That's right.
I'm going to carbo load and then run through that arcade.
Of 2 games.
Yep, I'm going to...
One of which is a claw game.
where everyone wins.
But what you win is like a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, it's like everyone. I put a quarter in for a Tootsie Roll. This is not fair.
Yeah, but think about the psychological victory of winning a claw game. I think
I
that's
agree.
like the Tootsie Roll. If you're at a certain age.
My kid loves them. She's like, I always win. I'm like the claw game master, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you know, yeah. But for now, I'm like, you did it, kid. And like when she's older, I'm gonna have to sit her down and be like,
listen,
not good at the claw game.
You can't go into the World Championship claw games. You can't. Like, this is your, you're being the Talia Shire to her Sylvester Stallone. It's like, you can't win. All those times I was setting you up.
Yep.
I took you to CC's where the games are rigged.
They're rigged.
You want to see what a real one looks like? Come on, we're going to putt-putt.
And I went to putt-putt and crushed that kid's heart. It's
but
like
you
that.
Kept her from wasting years training, for the Olympics.
Although if she trained, isn't there a good chance she actually would have gotten better? So did I shortchange her?
Well, okay. In this scenario, she hasn't been training all her life. Like
Fair. She's just going straight to humiliate herself.
To the qualifying trials,
Gotcha.
With no coaching, no nothing.
I don't know, though. There's some humility in that, too, right? Actually, I'm going to be a dad here. Like, my kid kind of learns a lot from that stuff. Like, the failures actually do kind of teach you, okay, like, all right, now we did that. And, like, it can, obviously, like, some failure is very hard, and it takes you a long time to work through, but also there's like that failure where you fail at something and you go, no, man, I can do this. Like, I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to do it better.
So maybe the story's got a redemptive arc where you become her trainer.
Are you listening, Netflix?
Because you should be.
If you're not.
We know you're going to cancel it after 2 seasons.
That's okay.
But I think we could tell the entire story of a young claw game champion in 2 seasons.
Both the failure and redemption arc.
Yeah, season 2 is where she finally wins.
Mm-hmm. She gets like a Mickey.
Yeah, like a big stuffed Mickey.
I was thinking more like Mickey from Rocky, but yeah. If we're gonna go, actually maybe we're going with Disney Plus so we can get
there
Mickey.
We go. Yeah,
we can get Mickey. True. It will be a Mickey relaunch sort of.
Part of the Mickey verse.
Yes.
It'll be called Into the Mickey verse.
Starring my kid as a boxer or as a claw game champion.
The more we talk about this, the more I want to write it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel free. Let's anytime. We could definitely we could write that.
I mean, it won't actually be your kid. We'll change things up.
Sure. It's not her name. It's going to be very similar to her name. Wink, wink.
Bolivia.
Yeah, Bolivia. It's Bolivia. That's it. And Venezuela. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a kid in Venezuela.
I mean, maybe in this story you do.
Sure, fair. Maybe we'll write Venezuela in.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of fiction, Darrel.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe Venezuela comes in at the end, and then it's almost like the Fast and the Furious, where there's like a break off.
So like they're like racing each other at the end.
No, it's just more like the franchise. Like now Venezuela has like.
Kind of like Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Venezuela and Daddy.
I'm in it now.
You're the coach.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that aspect of it actually. Because
you're the Mickey.
I'm not very good. I'm not very good. Like I'll have to just bullshit her, I guess.
Well, it's like I mean, do you ever see Mickey boxing in Rocky? No, you see a poster on his wall once.
I mean,
you assume he had a career.
He had one. He probably just got one guy to take the photo, and he's like, "I got him."
Now I can open my gym.
Yeah.
See that picture?
Are we talking about how Mickey just hustled an entire generation of Philadelphia boxers?
And made it work, actually.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, he found a way to, really live an okay life, I think.
Yeah. Right up until Mr. T shoved him too hard and he died.
Yeah, oof. So, yeah.
So, it's been a few weeks since we've been on the air. my co-host Darrel.
Yes.
So thanks everybody for tuning back in. I assume our listenership will experience no dip from us taking a month off.
No, never. It hardly ever. It's not like that. It's much like this economic rebound. No, I'm just kidding. Heyo. I think there's a lot of hardship out there, so I take that back. Yeah, no, it's been good. It's not as hot here. I think fall maybe is like around the corner. If it's not officially here, it might be around the corner, which is nice because it's not 900 degrees anymore.
Yeah. It's starting to get dark a little earlier here in Alabama. Like it was dark before 7 p.m.
Yeah, I think it's right a little bit after 7 here. So like, yeah. And I enjoy that. I enjoy this time of year. For me, it feels like, and I know that fall is not necessarily, in a lot of cases, it's a season of like death.
It's also a season of harvest, though.
That's fair, and that's kind of what I was going to say too. It feels like the fall, to me at least, and I was thinking about this on the way to work because I could actually drive with the windows down, and that was nice in the morning at 6 o'clock. And I was like, wow, fall feels like something good is going to happen. And like, I guess I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right. It is kind of like harvest. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, definitely things are starting to turn. Summer's over, but like, it's also a time of reaping and enjoying what you've spent the year planting, you know, like in farmer terms. So it's, but it's also a time to be playful with death because, you've got Halloween and everything. And I think it's very deliberate that we celebrate it, at the end of October when, in large swaths of the country, it's starting to get very cold.
And like there is, leaves are falling. They're dead now. Like the grass is dying if it's not already dead. Like it's starting to, there's like a physical decay of and I know that a lot of that, like we know that in the spring the trees are going to bloom again. And we know that like new leaves are going to form. But like I do think that is a pretty gnarly backdrop to like have that sort of feeling in the air at the time when it's actually happening around you.
Yeah, and I remember speaking of changing of the seasons and knowing that the leaves are going to come back. My first winter in Iowa, I grew up in Texas with you, so like that first Iowa winter was pretty brutal. Like it went on from like November till almost April. Like it hung on. And there really is like, I think you almost have to live through it to appreciate how grim winter starts to feel after a while. And that's why stuff like Christmas, if you celebrate or just celebrating the Yule or whatever, the solstice is really important because it's placing this celebration of life and birth in the midst of the earth's death. Periodic death.
Yeah. Wow, I hadn't really thought about that. I like as fall is like the creeping death and the slow death. Like winter is the death.
Yeah, and then in Iowa at least, when the sun finally started to shine and the temperatures were getting up into the 20s and 30s after weeks of being in the negatives, like everybody is walking around smiling at each other because like
we're see the sun.
Yeah, and we're happy to be able to be outside. Like it really takes an effect on your psyche, like that I didn't understand until I lived through it. Because I was like, oh yeah, I fucking love winter, because Texas winter is about 2 weeks of cold days.
Right, and not all together either. Like
usually broken up by weeks of unseasonable summer.
You're like, dang, it got cold on Saturday, and then like by Wednesday, you're like, yeah, man, it's like at least 50. Like
yeah, I'm wearing shorts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's definitely, I forgot how we got on the subject, but changing of the seasons.
Changing of the seasons. Yeah, I don't either. We were spinning a yarn for Netflix and then Disney Plus, but whatever.
Then we got real deep.